Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Systems for Creative YouTube channel. I'm Amy Pearson, and today I'm so excited because I'm sitting down with someone who has helped shape the way wedding professionals think about marketing, growth, and running their business like actual CEOs. I'm here with Heidi Thompson, and she's the best-selling author of Clone Your Best Clients and the founder of Evolve Your Wedding Business, where she helps wedding pros stop throwing everything at the wall, instead build a focused strategic marketing system that attracts and books the right clients without living on Instagram or working 60-hour weeks. Heidi is also the creator and host of the Wedding Business CEO Summit, which I'm thrilled to be speaking at this year. And over the last 13 years, she's helped thousands of wedding pros around the world grow their businesses in a way that actually supports their lives. Heidi, I'm so excited to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
So for anyone meeting you for the first time, can you share a little about what led you to start Evolve Your Wedding Business and the work you do today?
Yeah, so it's a long and winding road, but once upon a time, I worked as a planner. I enjoyed it. I worked in nonprofit events and then I worked in weddings. And I realized that what I actually really loved about the nonprofit events was getting people to them, like getting people to care about them, the marketing side of it. So I kind of like put a pin in planning. I worked in a million different sectors in marketing, which I absolutely love. And then I saw an opportunity to start a wedding show to bring together, at the time, this was like 2011, to bring together like the whole offbeat bride, rock and roll bride crowd with vendors that would actually cater to them in a more creative way. And I found myself spending a ton of time in that business, helping my vendors get a better return on these wedding shows that we were doing. So that's when it kind of like hit me in the face that not everyone just reads marketing books and enjoys marketing, and these amazing, insanely creative and talented people would make a lot more money if they understood how to better market themselves. So that's really where all roads converged and Evolve Your Wedding Business was born.
That's really cool how all of those things tied together. And then you saw like, wait a minute, like I can really help people here with their marketing and help them, these creative, amazing people, which I'm sure you were working with a lot of talented artists in that wedding show and everything like that. So what are the biggest marketing mistakes that you see them making when they're trying to get more clients?
Yeah, I think a lot of people do marketing, right? They do stuff. And I get why people do this because that's what you see happening. What you don't see is all of the strategy and everything that goes into that to make sure that it's going to work, that makes sure it's aligned with the right client, to make sure that when that client comes across you, they're like, this is exactly who I want to work with.
Mm-hmm.
So overlooking that piece is the most common thing that I've seen, because it's very easy to just look at what everyone else is doing and then just start posting, random stuff on social media. But then inevitably it doesn't work because there's no actual foundation. There's no strategy. There's no plan for, okay, who are we trying to attract? What do they actually care about deep down? How can we stand out from our competition? What do they need to hear from us in the marketing in order to, want to work with us instead of someone else? Those are the things that make the actual marketing work. And a lot of people don't know that. And a lot of people skip that because all they see is people posting stuff on social media.
Right. I mean, I totally get it. You see people posting things on social media and you're like, okay, I got to post stuff on social media. It's social media. I mean, we all kind of do it for fun and we just think, okay, I know how to do social media, but there is like this underlying aspect that you really have to put some thought into those kind of foundations and things like that.
Yeah. And I see wedding professionals who are brand new, wedding professionals who've been in the business 20, 30, 40 years. The same thing is true. And I mean, sometimes people have just managed to get by on, referrals, and they've done quite well. But, 30 years in, a lot of those referral sources, maybe they're retiring and you don't have them anymore. Now it's like, uh-oh, I don't actually have this marketing foundation in place, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do in order to actually get clients instead of just like throwing random stuff out there.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That would be so scary. After 30 years, you're like, wait, now I got to figure out how to market.
It is a rude awakening for a lot of people who, like, when they got started, they built a network and they did quite well from that like local group of people. And then something shifted, whether it's just the market shifted or those people are no longer in business, or for whatever reason, something changes and then you don't know what you're supposed to be doing.
And sometimes with marketing, it's a little bit of a like, you don't really know exactly why something changed.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sometimes it just doesn't work the way it used to.
And then you got to put on your detective hat and figure something out. I know that you say, like, you're kind of known for teaching people how to clone their clients. And I love that line. I love the visual that it brings up. But what does that mean in real life?
So my approach is, we don't want to build your marketing off of a guess. We don't want to build your marketing off of like an avatar if we can help it. Instead, what we want to do is actually go extract some of this information from your best clients. So I teach the members of my membership, and really everywhere, I just talk about this nonstop. I teach people to look at, okay, who do you wish you could clone and work with over and over and over again? And then we want to go to those people and we want to ask them some specific questions in order to get really clear on why they decided to work with you. Where did they find you? Where did they look? What other things did they consider? So we can get into their heads instead of just trying to like guess our way to it. We all have this gold mine of information. It's just trapped in our clients' heads. So we can go directly to them and figure out, hey, how do I get more people exactly like you? You just need to ask the right questions and extract that information in a way that gives you a clear picture of, okay, this is where I need to show up. This is what I need to be talking about. I thought this mattered to them. Turns out this other thing matters more. So I need to change my language. And you really just become this magnet for that exact person. And that's the power of building it off of real people and not just an imagined avatar.
Yeah, I think that's very true. Like, based on a real person instead of what we think our clients want, it's much more concrete than that. So do you sit down and like ask people to talk to you, or like, are you putting questions in your lead capture forms? I'm not asking you to give me all your secrets here, but
it's a mix. So for my clients, it really depends how many people they identify. So if there's like 3 people they've worked with and they absolutely love, I'm going to say, okay, ideally we want to talk to them, like have a Zoom call or something like that. I prefer that because we tend to edit ourselves less and go off on tangents when we're talking about things. And there can be some real gold in those tangents that, when you're filling out a form or you're responding to an email or something like that, you're going to edit yourself a little bit more just because that's what we tend to do when we're writing. But I have clients who have done very well off of doing this in survey format too. I just think the people that you're like, this person, this is my exact person. If you can talk to them, even if they're the only ones you talk to, and then maybe you send a survey to other people to get an idea of, okay, what did they actually care about? Why did they make the decisions they made? Why did they choose me instead of someone else? That is going to give you the information you need. And I think more often than not, we start from scratch and guess at things when we don't have to. Like all of that information is there. You just have to ask for it.
Yeah. And sit down with someone and take a lot of notes, because I'm sure they say some things that you're like, oh my gosh, this has to go in my notes for things I want to make sure I talk about and say, because my person that I want to clone says this kind of thing, and it's not something I would have ever thought of saying, but they said it, and it's like light bulb moment.
I love those. And it's so funny because we get trapped in this way of talking about what we do that, especially in the wedding industry, it's kind of a weird industry because we're dealing with people who have more than likely never done this before. They don't use the same jargon as us. They don't use the same language. They don't know what we're talking about when we use this sort of language. So it is really helpful to be able to step outside of your own brain and see, you know, if you were recommending me to a friend, what would you say? And then being able to hear that from someone who's coming at it from the same perspective as your next client is super helpful.
Yeah, hugely helpful. I remember when my husband and I were planning our wedding a few years ago, and we were planning the wedding with the officiant, and it was a company that did beach weddings. So they did photography and the officiant and the decorations and the whole thing. And I told them on the call that I wanted a first look, and my husband was like, oh, what? And the reason I knew that I wanted to do a first look is because I work with wedding people and I work with a lot of wedding photographers. And
Yeah.
he was like, wife say what?
And we
And then we did his favorite part of the wedding.
Oh, I love that. That's so fun. And he would have never thought to ask for that because he doesn't know what it is.
Yeah. And like probably a lot of couples don't know what that is. So
yeah,
like it helps to learn how people talk about what you do who aren't you.
it's so easy to get like trapped in your own expertise. And that's true of me. That's true of you. Like that's true of everybody.
Oh yeah, I'm so bad about it. I'll get talking dubsado and workflows and all the things.
Like, what is a workflow exactly?
Yeah, it's a little checklist that the system follows, kind of like your assistant, but it does the things on repeat, which I like. So let's say someone finally starts getting more inquiries because they're doing what you talked about with the interviews and the questions and getting inside their ideal clients' heads and talking the way they talk, and they're starting to see more inquiries. From your perspective, where do you see people losing bookings or momentum after that?
It's a combination of things. And I'm sure you see this too. I feel like the thing people always come to me for is like, how do I book more weddings? And then I have to talk about this stuff. Otherwise, like you're going to walk right off a cliff and you're going to fall into working ridiculous hours and trying to do all these things because you don't have any way of managing it. So part of it is setting up things like systems and workflows and automate that can take care of a lot of this work for you. I see people all the time, you know, they're spending 10, 15, 20 hours a week just on like the back and forth, the management of these leads. And like, that's half your job. That's a huge amount of time that could be streamlined by putting, you know, whether it's even just getting really streamlined on your systems or setting up automations and workflows to do some of the work for you. Another way I see people just completely lose time is there's two things. One, they're trying to do everything and most things aren't working. So we're spending a ton of time on things that aren't actually working. And then the other thing I see people doing is they're switching between things a lot. So they're losing a lot of their cognitive capacity, like with context switching, which is the cognitive term for that. So if I were to pick up my phone right now and start responding to DMs, I'm not at full capacity. It takes like 20 minutes to get your brain fully up to its maximum of what it can do. And if you're being pulled back and forth, if you're switching from one thing to another constantly, there's so much of your time that's just going out the window to you not being mentally there as much as you could be. So that is a really big thing, I think, especially for creatives, because there's often no structure or boundaries around how we're spending our time. So it's really easy to get pulled in a million different directions. And then you spent all day in reaction mode and you never actually got anything done.
I have been there. I have bought the t-shirts,
Same.
had the gajillion tabs open. Like, you're speaking
Yeah, and
my
I have
language.
to-
It's something I've actually personally been focusing more and more on, because it's so easy to be like, oh, I'm just going to do this one little thing over here. And then
and
half an hour
something
goes
we
by.
we all do it. I am not immune to this. No human being is immune to this. It's just
No.
you have to learn that it exists, learn to recognize it, and you get better and faster at pulling yourself back and kind of pulling your own leash back of like, what am I supposed to be doing right now? Because it's not this.
Yeah, so hear you on that one. And I see people all the time like copying and pasting the same email over and over again because they're not using any kind of automation or structure process. So they're manually writing the emails over and over again, or copying and pasting them. And everybody thinks it's going to be like a 5-minute deal. I don't think I've ever written an email in less than 10 minutes, but you start doing the math on that and it's such a time suck.
Yeah, even if it is only 5 minutes, first of all, it's pulling you away from something else. And even if it is only 5 minutes, like how many times are you doing that per week? How many times are you doing that per month, per year? And compound that over your whole career. That is so much time that's just going down the drain.
Yeah, and time that you could be doing marketing or interviewing your prospective clients to understand your favorite clients, I should say, so you can get inside their heads and do stuff like that, which is much more going to get you more of a return on investment, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny. I see like people I work with, they always, when they first start, they're like, I need to do more. Like, I need to do more things. I need to be all the places. But when we actually look at, okay, what is getting you results, especially in marketing? What's taking up your time? What's getting you results? So if you are spending 5 hours a week creating Instagram content and none of your clients are coming from Instagram, that's probably not the best use of your time. I'm not saying quit, but can we pare that down to an hour a week? Can we shortcut it in different ways so that you are actually spending time on what is working for you? Because when you do that, the funny thing is you go from this place of, I need to do more, I need more time, to you're actually doing less, but you're doing it better and you're working less.
And we all want to do that. I want to do the least amount of work for the highest return.
It's funny because like we want that in our heads, but then our behavior is completely opposite of that. Let's go spin our wheels and see how much time we throw into these things because we're just not aware of it.
Or we redesign our system for like the 15th time.
Sure, why not?
That seems to be my coping mechanism.
It's funny, we all have like our unique little sabotage things we do. And the more you can get to know those things and realize that you're starting to do it, the more you can realize like, oh, I'm avoiding this other thing because it's uncomfortable, or I'm avoiding this because I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing or what the next step is. And you can actually start to problem solve that.
Yeah, it was actually ChatGPT that called me out on that one. I was like, why am I doing this? It's like, oh, actually, it's a coping mechanism. Blah, blah, blah. You're stressed and this is going on and that's why you're doing this. And I'm like, huh.
I finally understand.
This, I know that wasn't anything we talked about, but do you know? Or
oh, yeah. I tend to, what are my coping mechanisms? I tend to go into what do I need to create. I tend to like drift into creation mode when I'm trying to avoid something. Like, no, I need to do this new thing. I need to write this thing or create this whole new process or create these images. And almost always what I actually need to do, if it is creating something, can be repurposed from something else. And I'm just going toward the creating, partly because it's fun, but partly because like there's just that well-worn track in my brain where it's like that's what you do, and you have to divert yourself. So if you feel like you're always having to divert yourself, like I want people to know that's normal. And like, you don't just become like this super efficient robot. Like you're still dealing with like a nervous system. You're still dealing with your own tendencies, and you're still going to be like, I want to go make things on Canva, but you have to be able to recognize it and pull yourself back.
Rein yourself in on the thing.
Yeah. And my check for myself always is like, is this the thing that matters most right now? And usually if I'm having to ask myself that question, the answer is no. And then it's like, okay, now I can look at what did I say was the most important thing? And I can do that.
What did I write down when I was planning the week that I wanted to get done this week?
Exactly. Like when I was in the right mindset and I wasn't reacting to something that happened and trying to like comfort myself in some way.
That's a really good point. I'm going to write that on a sticky note and stick it to my laptop.
So helpful.
One thing that I do, this is a total pivot. One thing that I've been talking about a lot, and I actually talked about it in my presentation for the Wedding Business CEO Summit, is that I'll just ask, how important for you is the experience after they click inquire or send that first message? And what do you think, like, what is your experience with that and what makes it really awesome?
There are so many things that happen after that. Oh man, there are so many things. And your presentation is great for this because, you know, it's going to take people through exactly what happens. But definitely some things I've seen is having an automatic email that acknowledges receipt, and then because you're pulled in a million different directions, you don't actually respond to them for kind of a while, and it takes you way too long. And by that point, like they've gone in another direction. And I'm not even saying like, oh, like you got to be right on top of it. I mean, there are people that like don't respond for a week. And then like, yeah, you're probably going to lose that lead because they've reached out to other people and other people have given them what they need, have started to solve the problem. I think something else that comes up in this area is, you know, the whole conversation about price transparency. I'm seeing more and more and more people accept the fact that like we are at a point where we are so used to knowing what things cost. Like people don't take taxis, they take Ubers because they know the cost of, you can see exactly what it's going to cost. We, just as buyers, are in a mentality where we need to know this information. And I think people who withhold that because they think it's going to result in, I don't know, some more of a conversation, or they'll be able to like trick them into spending more, that I'm seeing flop hard, real hard, especially with the couples that are coming through now.
I can totally see that. And I remember having conversations with coaches a few years back about that very thing. They were like, no, don't put your pricing on your website. And I'm like, that feels icky to me. I mean, it's just, I'd rather someone see at least a start price. If it is a scalable kind of thing that has to be a little more custom, I'd rather they see a start price and be able to say like, oh, maybe not, this isn't a good fit for me. I'd rather that than tell them the number on the call for the price to do whatever they are looking for, and then have them feel uncomfortable having to say like, I can't afford that or something like that. So yeah, I totally see what you're talking about. In fact, the other day, someone messaged me and said like, your pricing isn't on your website for a newer offer that I had added to the website. And it was a complete oversight that I just wrote the webpage and forgot to put the pricing on the page.
That's good that someone informed you on that, because that could have been something that you're like, why isn't this offer selling? Why isn't anybody interested in it? And it's not that they aren't, it's that they don't want to do the extra work of
ask the question. And I was like, thank you for reaching out, because I probably would have gone a lot longer before I realized that I didn't put the price on it.
Yeah. And I think it's important that we give price in context. Like you can't just say like, it's 10,000. Like, I don't understand what I'm getting. I don't understand what problem this is solving. I don't understand what matters. That's a roll of copy on a website. But this whole, I'm going to withhold the price and then get them on a call and then somehow
sell them on how awesome I am.
No,
Yeah,
I've never been
I feel like that's old sales tactics, and it just doesn't really work so much anymore. So your Wedding Business CEO Summit is all about stepping out of the hustle mindset and into a CEO role. I'd love to hear, what does being a wedding business CEO actually mean to you?
I really think about this as a division of you as a person. And it's really weird to think about, but when you start doing it, it makes it work a lot easier, because you have to be the CEO of the business, but you also have to be the worker, right? You have to do this worker bee role. And what most people try to do is they try to, without really thinking about it, kind of smash those things together. Like while they're doing stuff, try to make higher level decisions related to strategy and goals and like what they're actually going to execute. I think when you put yourself in the SEO position, you're really putting yourself in a calm, controlled decision-making position. And like with all the topics during the summit, if you're trying to implement these things while you're in worker mode, it's probably not going to work super well, because you need to be able to remove yourself from that for a minute. And basically, I think of it as like creating the work order for yourself. Like, what am I supposed to be doing? What am I supposed to be focusing on? What are the things that I need to do in order to reach my goals? And you can't do that when you're in the midst of like responding to emails, right? You're too deep into the work, too deep into the task. And when you function as the CEO, you get to actually control that version of yourself a lot more. So you don't spin out, so you don't go in a million different directions. You get to like create more of, this is your job title. This is what you do. This is what you don't do. Like, these are the things we're putting in place so that you don't have to spend a ton of time in your inbox, or so you don't have to copy and paste that email over and over again. So it's kind of like, in a weird way, you're kind of like parenting yourself in the business and being like, okay, we're going to meal prep so we don't eat junk food, right? Like, you're making the decisions in advance from a place where you're like, I see where I want to go, and these are the steps I need to take. And this is how I'm going to like hand this over to worker me to go and execute, instead of just like sitting down and working for the sake of working to feel busy and then treating working 60, 80 hours as like a badge of honor because, oh, look at you. You were a good little worker bee and you were so busy. But did you actually accomplish anything that the CEO version of you would have wanted accomplished?
I love that. Like, I totally know that I've been guilty of doing those kinds of things. How do you, as the CEO version, what do you do in your business to be the CEO versus I'm in worker mode, and kind of separate those things?
I batch them separately, and I have certain boundaries around certain types of things. So I have call days and no call days, right? So I know that on the no call days, I'm going to find it a lot easier to have this block of time where I'm working on a marketing strategy, or I'm, planning out how am I going to reach these goals that I want to execute, or how am I going to put this new system in place in order to make things easier for myself. So I literally block them out on my calendar as this day. And I don't get super specific. I'm not the kind of planner that's like very granular about it. It's kind of just like morning and afternoon for me, or like a couple of hour blocks, 3 2-hour blocks on a calendar for a day. And then I know like, okay, these are my most important things. And I try to group as much CEO stuff together as I can and group as much worker stuff together as I can, because I know I won't get pulled away, firstly. And secondly, I can make use of the momentum that comes from that. So if I'm working on a marketing strategy, Or, I'm working on the overall strategy for the summit. How's it going to work? What sorts of things do I want to cover? What do I want to accomplish with it? It's much easier for me to do all of that together and use the momentum of like, okay, yeah, I'm like feeling in the groove of this, and I can get it done much faster than if I were trying to jump between like, okay, let's go set up the website. Like, no, that's worker stuff that goes on this day. Yeah.
I love that idea. So are you like a fan of time blocking then?
I am, but I'm not like super specific and granular. It's more big chunks. It's more like buckets really for me. Like I will do well with having like a bucket for 3 hours on a Monday that just says marketing strategy, because I know, oh yeah, the things I've been wanting to do are this. For some people, they like to get really specific, but I find when I get too specific, then I tend to be like, I don't want to do this. I feel too controlled, too boxed in by me. And, but I know like that's my unique thing. I know I'm going to resist having too much structure. Like knowing that I need to get this done today is enough for me. I don't need to do it at 1 p.m.
That's awesome. I love that. Definitely some really amazing takeaways. My brain is like thinking about all of the ways that you could possibly implement that. It's super cool. And I think I'm gonna have to like get myself a CEO hat and then like a worker bee hat.
I'm like, no, look at the hat. No, we're not doing that right now.
This is the hat we've got on right now. So what's one thing that what you think wedding pros need to stop doing if they want to run their business like a CEO in 2026?
I'm going to give kind of a big answer, and it's reacting. I think we need to not react. I think we need to control when we do things. We need to control when our inbox, is open and when we're doing things in there. We need to control when we're communicating with people, because when you're in reaction mode, you're not making good decisions. You're making emotional decisions. You're starting to stress out. Like you can feel your nervous system start to freak out. And it's way too easy to go off on a complete tangent because you're reacting to something someone said, or you're reacting to a notification or a phone call. And it's like, all of these things are designed to pull us away. So we have to kind of like build our own guardrails around how can we actually protect our time.
That is, yes, so true.
Easier said than done, but the better you can get at it, even if you can get like 10% better at it, it's going to allow you to control more of your time and actually do the things that you want to do.
1,000%. And I think this kind of rolls right into my next question. Like a lot of people are really exhausted. They're feeling burned out right now. What do you see burning wedding pros out the fastest? And I think we've maybe kind of talked about this already.
Part of it's the switching and the feeling like physically pulled in different directions. I also think sometimes burnout is a systemic issue, where the way that we have built our systems or not built our systems in our business is what's causing it. So like stuff is piling up because there isn't an automation that you've set up to take care of it, or you're feeling behind because there isn't something, there to do some of the heavy lifting for you. So I think not making full use of the tools at your disposal and the system really does lead to overwhelm, because you're doing work that you don't actually need to be doing. And then you're going to start to get resentful because you're spending all this time and you're not getting where you want to go, because you're spending your time on like literally just keeping the wheels on and keeping it functioning.
Yeah, very true. And it's just making you exhausted and burned out.
And I think it's, if we can notice, like you said, with the copying and pasting the email, like if we can start to notice small things like that, like what are you doing over and over again? That's a really good opportunity to change your system.
Yeah, if you're doing it over and over again, that is like big flashing light, like do something to make it so you don't have to do this again. Like,
Yes, make it stop.
save your sanity and your time and your energy and make that go away somehow, whether that's automation or maybe you have a team member that's doing it. I mean, you know me, I'm the automation person, but definitely not something that as a CEO, maybe you should be doing.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing, like not all tasks are created equal. You can spend 60 hours a week doing stuff that doesn't fundamentally move you any closer to your goals. Or, and what I've seen happen with a lot of people is like you can spend 20 hours a week and you can like make massive leaps toward your goals because you're doing the things that are most aligned and you're getting out of the busy work.
And getting out of the busy work with the marketing, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So what if, speaking of marketing, someone watching this wants to improve their marketing this month, what is one thing that you'd have them focus on?
I would say have a look at what is currently working for you and what isn't working for you. So brain dump, just like what is everything you're doing for marketing, not just posting on social media. I mean, like everything. Are you going to networking events? Are you participating in wedding shows? Are you paying for ads somewhere? All the things. And then where did your bookings come from? And what that tells you is what order of priority those things should be in. So we can do more of the ones that are driving results. Because what always happens is we divert for some reason to want to like fix the broken thing. I don't know why we do this. I do the same thing. I really wish I could understand this, but we get frustrated and we're like, oh, my TikTok isn't performing.
What do I need to do to optimize my TikTok?
And it's like, but you aren't getting anything from that. So what if we took that time and put it towards something that you're already getting results from, and you will be able to exponentially grow that. So look at what's working and what's not working, brain dump everything. And then that gives you a priority list. So where your time, where your energy, where your effort, where your intention should be going. You should be really focusing on doing more of those topics that are getting you the most results. And for a lot of people, that's something like referrals, and they don't actually have a strategy around that. They don't have anything they're doing, but like, what would change if you spent an hour a week on that instead of spending 5 hours on these things that aren't working? You're going to get better results faster, easier. So brain dump it. Look at what is actually getting you results and treat that as a priority list.
That is so smart. And I absolutely love that suggestion. I'm definitely going to go take a look at my things and see if what I'm doing is the priority things. So I know the Wedding Business CEO Summit is coming up. I can't wait for people to see the presentations that everyone has put together. I know that it's going to be an amazing summit. What inspired you to create that, and who is it really for?
So I created this summit. The first one I created was Book More Wedding Summit. That's always the first thing people come to me with. But the thing that's always driven me nuts about it is I hate to see people be like, all right, I'm off to go book a bunch of weddings and my business is going to kill me because I don't have the systems. I don't have the capacity to function as the CEO. And now the time is the biggest issue. Now you're getting enough bookings, but you're drowning in your to-dos. You're drowning in your business. So I really wanted
in place to support all those clients that you booked.
And it's like, you know, you solve one problem, you get a new problem. So it's to really help deal with that and deal with the sheer amount of overwhelm I see wedding professionals endure and the normalization in our industry that, you know, yeah, you just have to work 60 or 80 hours a week. And that's like what we do because we get to do what we love. No, it doesn't have to be that way. It can if you want it to be, but don't let that just be the default. So I wanted to bring experts like yourselves together to show people like, no, there are many different ways to do this. And this is really your buffet to like choose from what is going to work for you and to go implement it into your business so we can have less exhausted, less overworked wedding pros.
Yeah, I mean, you want to love what you do. And if you're burned out doing it, you're not going to want to do it. And you're not going to give your wedding couples the best experience that you really want them to have either. So I feel like putting more of a priority on self-care and boundaries around our time as service providers is so important. And we need to stop normalizing the 60, 80-hour work weeks. It's just not sustainable, and it's not good for anyone, really.
And I think some people think like, well, I have to do this for my clients. Like, your clients don't want someone that is that overworked working on their wedding anyway. They want someone that got a normal amount of sleep
and is excited to be there and
yeah.
enjoy the wedding with them and help them have an awesome day. So what do you hope people walk away with after attending the summit?
I really want people to walk away with, first, a realization that your wedding business doesn't have to work you to the bone. That is not a prerequisite. That is just something that we tend to fall into, but you can get yourself out of it. And I really want people to walk away with concrete solutions. So all of the presentations are very specific of like, here's this strategy, or here are these things to address. And you can immediately go and take action on those things and fix that within your business. So I want people to take action directly from it.
I love that. And I love that you asked all of us to give like a specific, like, short amount of actions that people could do right afterwards to see a result from watching the presentation. I thought that was so smart. And I hope people are going to take a lot of action from this summit. I wanted to just say thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. This has been so good. I don't even want to stop recording. I feel like we could talk for another hour. If people loved this conversation and want to learn more from you, where should they go and where can they find more information about the summit?
Yeah, so for the summit specifically, definitely go to the description. Amy's going to have her link. All of our speakers have unique links. And if you want to learn more from me, you can go to evolveyourweddingbusiness.com. And I also have a training that I've been running, and it has just taken off recently, about breaking up with WeddingWire and The Knot and bringing in your own leads. So if you want to get access to that training, you can get it at evolveyourweddingbusiness.com/breakup.
That sounds so good. I might have to go look just because I'm curious now, but thank you so much. I can't wait to see the rest of the speakers on the summit, and have a great day, everyone. Work less, make more, and your clients. Until next time, have an awesome week.